And so, of course, we can surmise from this history lesson, which doubtlessly will be covered in more detail. I'll get those notes to you after I photocopy them, which let me write this down.
I mean, how the hell are we supposed to use any of this in real life?
Well, actually, there's a lot of job opportunity.
No, like, I mean, in real life.
In real life, you say?
Yeah?
Like working?
Yeah.
Well, once upon a time before a little thing called history occurred, people like you, me, and him worked in terrible conditions. And I mean awful. No job security and slave wages. And then people started standing up for their rights. For example, there.
Strike and lockout.
Oh, yeah.
And that's when the concept of decent work came about. Decent work means earning a fair wage for a fair day's work and working in conditions that aren't dangerous for your health. Basically, just giving you a chance at life.
Yeah, but that all sounds really basic.
But in Ireland, just 100 years ago, it wasn't that basic. At all.
So, back to this 1913 thing.
Wow.
What are you doing?
Just wait for it. The 1913 lockout was basically a strike that lasted a whole 7 months and affected over 20,000 workers.
So it was a pretty big deal, so.
Ireland at the time was under the rule of Britain. In Dublin, huge poverty-stricken slums housed thousands of people looking for work. Jim Larkin was the man who wanted to change this and helped set up the trade union, ITGWU. This organisation was feared by the employees of Dublin. William Martin Murphy, an influential businessman, organised over 400 other Dublin employees to fight this new threat. They fired any employee connected to the union. Over the next several months, thousands of workers went out on strike. Employers would then lock out strikers, leaving them with no means to make a living.
So is that where the name comes from?
Shh. Shh. Exactly. There was a lot of anger. Police beat the striking workers. Especially bad was the infamous Bandon charge on Bloody Sunday. Workers and their families had a tough time being out of work, and eventually food from Britain had to be brought as aid. The strikes and lockouts ended, and in early 1914, workers began to return to work once more.
Was that it? Surely there was something more.
While the 1913 lockout might seem like a bit of a letdown, it had a big impact. Unions and worker solidarity were firmly established, and there was no going back. You could say that the 1913 lockout led to Ireland's fight for freedom. So now you know.
Yeah, now I do. Hi, do you have any books on the 1913 lockout?